Hi everybody, Froggy here. We got a report from my daughter who drives this truck. It's a 2000 Explorer XLT with about 150,000 miles on it, very stock. She said check engine light, and this truck just passed smog about a month ago. I had put new wires and plugs in it about 4 or 5 months ago. So a lot of the other stuff has never been touched though. So what I'm going to do is pull the code on this first and see what the OBD2 code says, and we're going to go from there. Okay, if you're new to this, this is an inexpensive OBD2 code reader and a book, and you plug it in and you look up the code in the book, and that gives you a pretty, well, not exactly diagnose what's wrong with the car, but it gives you a place to start looking. So I'm going to show you how to do this. The code reader plugs in under the driver's, it plugs into a connection under the steering wheel, and it can only go in one way because it's got an odd shape to it. Somebody knows what that shape is called, post it up to me on my channel. Anyway, this is going to plug in, and then we turn the key on. The power comes from the car, so the OBD2 reader doesn't need batteries or anything like that, and we'll see what we get. Okay, I looked it up, and what that means, P0174, is System 2 Lean Bank 2. This is a V6 motor, so Bank 2 versus Bank 1, it's one side of the motor, it's not the whole motor. System 2 Lean means there's more air getting in than what's necessary. I went online to a couple forums, and this is what I came up with for this particular car. There seems to be, at this mileage, there seems to be a failure oftentimes with the intake manifold gasket. We're going to leave that for last because that's the one that's the most work to change. Mass airflow sensor, that's never been cleaned on this car, so we can clean that. It's very delicate, so you have to be careful cleaning it. General vacuum leak, I'm going to check all the vacuum hoses that I can get my hands on and see if any of them are cracked or loose, and a PCV valve. So we're going to go under the hood and check those. Well, what I found so far is this one air or vacuum line that goes from just on the other side of the MAF. The MAF is in here, and this goes to the intake manifold up there, and it's not inserted all the way in there. Somebody who did some work on the motor didn't put it all the way back in. So that's a possibility, but it is still connected, so I'm not sure. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this apart, clean the MAF, and then reinsert this correctly, and then keep looking a little bit more, and then clear the code and start the engine again and see if the code goes away. Okay, I decided to take the air bridge out. This end here goes to the throttle body, this end goes to the air cleaner, and the MAF is right there. I want to show you something, if it'll show up on the camera. I noticed where that one air connection that I said was suspicious because it looked like it wasn't inserted all the way. Well, I see some kind of light powdery residue in there. I don't know if it'll show up on the camera, but it looks as though there might have been some air getting in there, and that's on the wrong side of the MAF, so that could be the problem. But I'm also going to show you something else. Okay, this is the throttle body, and it doesn't look like it's probably ever been cleaned. You see that dirty ring, kind of a ring of gunk, whatever. That'll cause a problem at idle. And this car, my daughter did tell me also that it was had kind of a wild idle, like a rough idle that would be swinging, you know, going fast, slow, fast, slow. Well, that's the computer in the car trying to regulate the idle, but because this gap, there's a tiny gap when the throttle turns or opens, there's a tiny gap. Let's see if I can show you. There. If I... Oh, there. Sorry. When I press on that, your engine control unit is trying to regulate this thing using this. I believe this is the idle control valve. So it's trying to regulate this when you have your foot off. You know, your foot, this cable usually runs the throttle, but when the cable is relaxed like that, then this little motor takes over and cracks this open just a little bit. And if that's dirty there, it doesn't have the proper gap that it's supposed to have when the engine is built, or when the throttle body is built. So I'm going to clean that. I'm going to clean the idle control valve, which is right here. There. That's the idle, that's the MAF, sorry. That's the MAF. The one that we were just looking at is the idle control valve. And I'm going to, the air cleaner looked good. I'm going to, the air bridge didn't have any cracks in it, but I am going to reinsert that hose all the way in. And that's it. 1, 2, 3 things, and I'm going to put it back together and see how it runs. I took the idle control valve off, and it's just an electrical signal goes into it, and this is a spring-loaded little twisty thing that cracks the throttle a little bit to give you an idle. Nothing you can service on this. I put a screwdriver in there and I moved it a little bit. It's got a small spring, a soft spring, and it moves okay. So I'm just going to put this back on for now and clean up all those other parts and see how it goes. Here's a little trick. When you go to clean the throttle butterfly, you need to have it open. So what I did is I took this hammer, this rubber mallet, and propped it open so that I can get a rag in here, rag here on both sides of the butterfly, and I'm going to use some throttle body cleaner. Now Ford, I believe, is the one that has a special coating inside there. There's something special inside the throttle body. So you have to have a safe throttle body cleaner. It means one that's not too strong, I suppose. It doesn't want to strip out the coatings. And I think I do have one of those in my toolbox. Actually, I think both of these say safe for Teflon coated throttle plates. So I checked back when I bought this. It said it was okay for Ford. This one I think is also okay. It says Teflon safe. So the coating that they put on that butterfly is Teflon. So we'll have a go with either one of these. Okay, we got this all clean now, and that's what came out of it. Now you might think, it's just dirt, it's not going to hurt anything. Well, the tolerances are so close and so tight on modern day engines, so to make them run better and to make them run clean, that that little bit at idle, that little bit of dirt could be throwing things off. Now we're going to shoot some cleaner on the MAF, and I'm going to put some lubricant, some silicone lubricant, where these hoses go back on there, just to help them go in easier and help them seal a little bit. the silicone on the rubber will provide a tiny bit of sealing. Now you don't want to put a lot of lubricant. You don't want to put a glob of it in there that's going to get sucked down the intake, but just a little bit. Okay? Now the MAF has a security fastener on there, a star bit, a security star bit. It's got a little pin in the middle. Now I've got the right star bit to get it out. I don't know why they put a security fastener on there. Sometimes I think it's so you have to go back to the dealer to get it serviced. They wouldn't do that, would they? But anyway, I'm going to be able to get that out, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like. Okay, we got our MAF out. Probably violated some federal laws, and they'll come and arrest me. I don't know. Anyway, there is part of it way down in there, you won't be able to see it, that I would not have been able to clean without taking it out. So there's like three elements. There's that one there, right in the middle of the camera shot, and there's that one that you can you see it there? Yeah. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's inside that D-shaped hole, and then there's a third one that's way down in that hole. So I'm going to all I'm going to do is just shoot some MAF cleaner, some electrical cleaner on there, and button it back up. I'm not going to touch it or rub it. They're very delicate, so be careful. Don't be poking at them with anything. I'm going to use electrical contact cleaner on it. I have seen one of my other buddies who puts up some automotive do-it-yourself stuff use some isopropyl alcohol with a swab, like a Q-tip swab, and if you're really, really gentle, you can do that. I guess that'll be okay too, but I'd rather just shoot some of this spray on there and not physically touch it at all, because they just look too delicate to me. Anyway, take your pick, but these do need to be cleaned up every once in a while. They are very sensitive electronic measuring. They measure the airflow is what they do. Somehow, magically, they measure it by electronic signal, so doesn't hurt to clean them up once in a while. Okay, there we go, all back together, buttoning up. Alright, this is where I'm putting the silicone. Remember, I'm emphasizing this. Just a little light touch. Inside here where it seals up. Here. And where it mates up here. Okay? Don't get crazy. Just a little bit. Don't forget these two hoses also. Both ends, male and female. Okay, this is Froggy. I have got the motor back together. It's still got a very rough idle. I think it might be the intake manifold gasket. I want to demonstrate something here and see if anybody can help me out on this. What I'm going to do, this is the passenger side intake manifold where it bolts down to the block, or to the head. And I'm going to spray some brake cleaner down there. I'm going to show you what happens. Alright, this is one-handed. Yeah. Spraying brake cleaner. I don't know if you can notice, it almost stalls out when I spray brake cleaner there. I'll do it one more time. There. You see it almost stalled out? So I think it's sucking in that brake cleaner right there. And I think I need to put an intake manifold gasket on it. I'll post this up and see what kind of comments I can get. Froggy's back. We did a test drive. The check engine light did not come on. There were no codes, but I'm not happy with the idle. The cold idle is very rough. The hot idle is okay, really not too bad, but it's got a little stumble in it once in a while. I think this is going to have a part 2 to it. Part 2 is going to be replacing an intake manifold gasket. So that's it for this video. Froggy out. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. If you want some more, subscribe to my channel. Catch you later.